But just in terms of how things look for whoever the Republican nominee is, most likely Donald Trump, gas prices are on the rise again. It's something that the Republicans are talking about. It is hitting now the highest in almost a year. The national average, $3.88, up $1.49 since President Biden took office. And now the CEO of Chevron is sharing some, well, an unwelcome prediction.
$100 oil, is that going to happen?
Sure looks like it. We're certainly moving in that direction. The momentum, supply is tightening. Inventories are drawing. These things happen gradually. You can see it building.
Of course, if oil goes up, gas goes up. Crude is under $100 a barrel. If it reaches $125, we could see gas prices rise to $4.50 or higher. At $150 a barrel, gas goes to more than $5 a gallon, just in time for Christmas. Our friend Erick Erickson noted that as the cost of oil rises, you're going to be paying higher transportation costs while businesses are passing on higher costs to an increasingly penny-pinched consumer. That's even before you pay to heat your home with heating oil. The newest member of our News Nation family is with us, Connell McShane, the new host of NewsNation Now, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern on the channel. First of all, welcome. It's nice to see you. Leland. Yeah, but great to have you. All right. The argument from the Biden administration is that our policies don't really affect this, and in the short term, they may be right. Be fair about this. The energy policies that we're seeing from the White House, what could they not do that would affect the price of gas right now?
Well, I think we use short-term versus long-term, and we use his history as our guide. And I think that it is fair to say that in the short term, the policies of any president, whether it's this or a preceding president, do have very little effect on the price of gas. Now, over the longer term, administration policies and what your priorities are could have an effect on oil prices, oil supply, what the priorities are of the country. If you're moving towards more of an environmental priority, are you going to have less incentive to produce domestically? All of that is true, but I think it is fair that in the short term, there's not much a president could do. Now, it's clear, however, which makes this an interesting story, that this administration still feels like it has to act to try to bring gas prices down. Look how many times the president has tapped the Strategic Petroleum Reserve as an example. Look how he speaks about when prices are down. They're not down now, as you've pointed out. But when they're down, he'll say and try to take credit for the prices coming down. It is kind of contradictory if you're being fair on that side as well. But I do think there's very little a president can do in the short term.
Yeah, it's every politician, right? When things are good, they take credit. When things are bad, they blame somebody else. I thought this was interesting from the Wall Street Journal. Inflation will continue until morale improves. Trading on the line, of course, that the beatings will continue until morale improves. 5-point increase in the federal funds rate in the past 18 months. Interest rates way up. Car loans, home loans, mortgages, everything else. Real median weekly wages down 7% since 2020. Core inflation well above 4%, double the Fed's target. What I feel like we sometimes miss is the direct correlation between gas prices going up and the price of everything else going up, because for so long it felt as though that was mitigated, and now that correlation is a lot stronger. Why is that?
Well, gas prices are normally excluded from our regular gauge of inflation because they can be volatile, right? So when you're trying to measure inflation over time, you'll say excluding the fuel prices because they can be volatile. But to your point, many times they do move in the same direction as other prices, and we've all experienced that over the last however many years. So that's why I think, even though to the previous point that we were making, a president can have very little effect on the price of gasoline in the short term. A Federal Reserve Chairman and the Federal Open Market Committee, and they're in the middle of a meeting right now as we speak. It'll make an interest rate announcement tomorrow. They probably won't move on interest rates this time around, but that's the group that can have an impact. So as we try to look at it through a political lens, over the next year, a lot can change in this economy. If the Fed, starts to realize that they still have more work to do on inflation, they could slow the economy too much. They know that. It's a real fine line to walk here, and that is what could have political ramifications, which if you're President Biden or you're any president running for re-election, you don't have as much control of as you do other policies.
Yeah, and as you point out, in the short term, very little control over the gas supply. Although, to your like on Thursday, he said it again. I'm gonna get the prices down again.
Talks about it all the time, but really can't do much about it.
Yeah, especially in the short term. All right, Connell, welcome to the team.
Thanks,
your show starts on Monday. I know we're going to check in with you throughout the week. Glad to have you with us.
Thanks.
We heard from a lot of you Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.